The NFL is in what's called a dead period. There's really nothing going on. But today I wanted to talk about a team that a lot of people are sleeping on for this upcoming season. The Carolina Panthers had a very good offseason and are in a division in the NFC South that can easily see them win the division this year. First, they brought in Frank Reich, who has a coaching career record of 41-40-1, about 500. But if you look at his time with the Colts, it was old veteran quarterback after old veteran quarterback. The main ones being Phillip Rivers and Carson Wentz, and then this past year with Matt Ryan. I think Frank Reich is actually a pretty good coach, and being somewhere where he played and has deep roots to the Charlotte area, I think it's a very good fit with him to get this team turned around and back to what we know them as when they had Cam Newton. And some of the free agency signings were Hayden Hurst, who had a career resurgence with the Cincinnati Bengals last year in that offense with Joe Burrow. They also signed Von Bell for some defensive leadership on the back end from the Bengals as well. And then they brought in Miles Sanders at running back from the Philadelphia Eagles, who for my fantasy players out there, I think could be a fantasy breakout candidate this year to help stabilize that backfield and help stabilize Bryce Young early on in his rookie season. And obviously they took Bryce Young with the first overall pick. I think he was the correct choice for them, running that Frank Reich offense and get the ball out quick. I know people have questioned about his size regarding taking hits from guys in the NFL. No matter what we say about the SEC, it is not the NFL. I think Bryce Young will be fine. He can get the ball out quick. He can move around in the pocket. He's kind of got that Russell Wilson syndrome where he can move around in the pocket. He can take off if he needs to, but he's obviously looking to make the play down the field instead. And I think with the additions of Hayden Hurst at tight end, they obviously drafted Jonathan Mingo in the second round, who's another big body receiver. And they got Miles Sanders in the backfield as well to help with the run game and get the ball out to him in the quick screen game. Also can run the RPOs with him and Bryce Young as well, with we've seen blow up in the past couple seasons in the NFL. And I think that what has made the transition for these college quarterbacks a lot easier is a lot more NFL playbook and style of the NFL is a lot more closer to the college game with RPO spread offenses and just getting as much speed and just putting guys in place to where they can succeed a lot more than what we had seen in the past from the NFL. And now to the defense. J.C. Horn, who was coming back from a devastating injury, unfortunately did get hurt in OTAs, but they're saying he's not required to get surgery, so hopefully he can come back because when he is healthy, he is you can argue, one of the top 5 corners in the NFL. And they also have Shaq Thompson, who's a very quality, not just linebacker, but just playmaker on the defensive side of the ball. His name doesn't get brought up a lot in the mainstream NFL, but if you watch the Panthers or just a hardcore NFL fan, you know about Shaq Thompson and his ability. And then someone that a lot of NFL fans, like Brian Burns, who's just one of the league's premier edge rushers. I know there were talks last season would the Panthers trade him at the deadline, and they didn't. They hung on, and I think they seen that while, yes, last year was a rebuild year, this rebuild was not going to take your typical 2 to 3 years, that this was just a quick retool rebuild. And Brian Burns, any team would be lucky to have a guy like this, constantly in the backfield, constantly wrecking havoc. And I think he will be in the discussion this year for Defensive Player of the Year because he is that good. And you also have key contributors like Derek Brown at the nose tackle position, who is one of the more underrated nose tackles in my opinion. You also have Jeremy Chin on the back end safety. They added Von Bell to go along with him. They can make for a nice tandem in the backfield. And then you also have Yetur Gross-Matos, who in my opinion is due for a breakout season. And the Panthers are going to have him more focused on edge rushing, which is what he did at Penn State and is why he was drafted so high. The Panthers also went out and signed Adam Thielen. And no, he's not the Adam Thielen we once knew. He is still a veteran presence there to help Bryce Young, and more importantly, help that young receiving room with Laviska Shenault and Terrence Marshall and Jonathan Mingo. A very talented receiving room, but just very young, and Adam Thielen can help stabilize that. I say all this to say, well, yes, the Panthers are young. New head coach, first-year rookie starting quarterback. They're a very, very talented team. And in the NFC South, it's more than likely going to be a 3-headed race between the Panthers, the Saints, and the Falcons. The Buccaneers are in a rebuild, no matter what they want to tell you. But I think this division is the Panthers for the taking. I think it'll come down to them and the Saints, but the Panthers are going to be in there all year, and they will make the playoffs, whether that be division winners or in the wild card. Expect and get to know these Carolina Panthers because they will be playing important football games in December and January. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. And let me know down in the comments, do you think the Carolina Panthers have enough to win the NFC South?